This is 10 people that have survived the impossible. Vesna Volkovich.
The impossible, when she emerged alive after a 33,000-foot fall, entering the Guinness Book of World Records for surviving the longest fall without a parachute.
33,000 feet? That's like 3 of me because, you know, I'm so tall. Imagine it dropping 33,000 feet, somehow surviving that, and getting woken up like, congrats, you did it! You got a world record! Let's go! Woo! Whereas you're lying in the hospital bed like, every bone and every nerve and every fiber of my being is broken. The Guinness World Record guy sitting there like, yeah, but like you got a world record though. So that's epic, right?
Volkovich was a stewardess on an unfortunate Yugoslav Airlines flight from Copenhagen to Belgrade, during which the Ustash separatist group planted a bomb in the cargo. As the bomb went off, the plane crashed into the mountains, killing all 28 passengers and the entire crew, except for Vesna. She was
Holy crap, she is straight up the main character. Like, that has some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible vibes straight up right there. She's the main character.
Skull, 2 broken legs, and 3 broken vertebrae, but managed to survive and lead a full life afterward.
That's
Croatian
insane.
music teacher Fran Selak has had more than a few meetings with death and survived all of them. Reaching the age of 85 was not a smooth ride for Selak. At the age of 33, a train Selak was on flew off the tracks into an icy river, killing 17 passengers, but not him. With a
Jesus Christ, that's nasty.
broken arm, Selak survived this close call, only to find himself in a plane 1 year later flying across Croatia.
The way they phrase that, only to find himself in a plane, it's like he didn't know he was going to be in a plane. It's like he just wakes up one morning, is like, I'm in a plane now. Uh-oh, I sure hope this plane doesn't crash now that I'm in a plane now.
A door on the plane was blown away, and Selak was blown out of the plane with it. Believe it or not, he survived by landing on a haystack.
No, this is not real. Is this
Only
real?
3 years later, he was on a bus, which plunged into the river and killed 4 people. But, of course, not him.
At this point, near-death experiences must be boring to this guy. He'd be in a tank, and the tank would, like, get nuked, and he'd be like, not this again.
At the age of 41, the fuel tank in his car exploded, but
what? There's more?
he managed to react in time and escape certain death. Again,
oh, thank God he reacted in time. I'd be really good at that. I'd be able to react so good. I'm the best at reacting.
and the same incident unbelievably repeated itself just 3 years later.
The same thing happened again?
20 years after that, Selak survived one more car explosion and a
Dude, stop going in vehicles. Train, plane, bus, car. Just stop entering vehicles and you'll be so much safer.
another bus accident.
Use a horse.
Only
Another bus accident too?
to win the lottery and become a millionaire in
There's way too many twists and turns. I'm sorry. He won the lottery and became a millionaire?
2003. He is truly the most unlucky, lucky person of all time.
This is ridiculous.
Stella Maris College's Old Christians rugby union team from Uruguay had a mountain peak named after them when they tragically crashed into it while flying to Chile to play a game. The Glacier of Tears killed 12 people, leaving the others roaming through the vicious Andes on a temperature of 30 degrees below zero.
Oh, nasty. That's chilly. I'm not a fan of the cold. Don't like
Running
that.
out of the scarce food reserves they had,
How did they get a picture of a fridge with 1 green apple in it? Do people even put apples in the fridge? I've never done that. I keep apples outside of the fridge. Do people do that?
survivors lost all hope when they heard via radio that the search for them had been called off. In the harsh conditions, they started dying off one by one, with the last ones standing eating their deceased friends in a
Jesus Christ.
desperate attempt to keep on living. 2 of the bravest people managed to reach Chile on foot and inform the world that a group of 16 people were still out there, having survived an incredible 72 days.
72 days out there in minus 30-degree temperature. I don't know if I have the willpower. I think I'd be one of the people that died. I don't know if I could go through that.
Anatoly Bugorsky worked as
They are way braver than I am. All right, Anatoly, what you got
a
for us?
researcher at the Institute for High Energy Physics in Prodvino. While checking a malfunctioning piece of equipment, a beam from the largest Soviet particle accelerator measured at about 200,000 rads went straight through his head.
What? What? Okay, that sounds like it's from Fallout. I don't believe you. That sounds like it was written by a Bethesda Softworks employee.
Gorski's face swelled up beyond recognition and started peeling off. The beam burned through parts of his face, his bone, and the brain tissue underneath. Astonishingly, although only 500 rads would normally be enough to kill a person, but Gorski survived. His intellect was undamaged, and he continued his scientific career with much success. He did, however, lose his hearing in the left ear, with that side of his face remaining frozen due to the destruction of nerves.
Well, I think that's a pretty good trade-off after getting blasted from a laser from a particle accelerator.
Roy Sullivan was a ranger in Virginia who made it to the Guinness Book of World Records by surviving being struck by lightning 7 times.
No way. They say 7 is a lucky number. I guess not, gamers.
Each strike did leave him scarred through. The lightning left him with minor injuries each time, such as the loss of a toenail or burning off an eyebrow. But some of the incidents had more serious consequences, such as setting his hair on fire, searing a shoulder, or leaving him with chest burns. Ironically, after a series of miraculous survivals, Sullivan ended his life at the age of 71 by suicide.
Oh no, what?
Apparently out of reasons unrelated to his bad luck when it comes to storms.
I don't think he would have killed himself because he's like, oh man, this lightning won't stop hitting me. I guess I'm just gonna off myself. Do you think that by like the 5th lightning strike, he was like, oh, come on, Matt, really? This again? I'm getting, really? Again? Seriously? Did he like have some kind of metal inside of him that was conducting electricity? How do you get hit by 7 times?
Joe Simpson and Simon Yates dared to set on the mission of scaling the west peak of the Ciudad Grande, 20,814 feet high. The mountain is part of a mountain range in the Peruvian Andes. The ascent was made famous by Simpson's book Touching the Void, in which he describes the climbing and the falling. Simpson was wounded and fell 100 feet into an ice crevasse. He managed to survive and crawl back up to base camp. It took him 3 whole days.
Oh, nasty. You get to crawl with a broken leg for 3 days through the snow. God, these people have so much willpower.
Truman Duncan had the most horrific accident you can imagine and survived it.
I don't know. I mean, we've heard some pretty bad ones so far. Oh no, there's a train. Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction. He had his legs cut off by a train.
He was just another passenger on a train when he accidentally fell off a train car in motion. He was swept underneath the speeding train and was literally cut in 2. Duncan not only managed to survive the horrible event, but he stayed conscious for the next 45 minutes. He managed to get his cell phone out and call the paramedics himself.
I was right. Can I just say, the most important thing, I was right. The second thing, how did you stay conscious? He has half of him is gone.
Underwent 23 surgeries, lost both his legs and a kidney, but miraculously made it out of the hospital alive.
That's insane.
Aaron Larston.
Dude, people can die by like tripping on a crack and like hitting their neck in the wrong way. And then people can survive being literally chopped in half by a train.
In Blue John Canyon when a boulder fell on him. The boulder.
Oh, we've all heard this one, chat. The boulder fell 127 hours. I think we all know this one.
His arm down, making it impossible for Larston to move. He tried to lift and break the boulder, but after 5 days, he realized it was no use. Dehydrated and delirious, Larston finally got the courage to amputate his own arm. He managed to snap his own bone and eventually cut his arm off entirely, finally freeing himself from the boulder.
Oh God, how do you do that without bleeding out? If you're in the middle of a mountain range, how do you not bleed out?
Robert Evans, a 46-year-old homeless man, was a victim of a hit and run. He was patched up in the hospital and sent away soon after. On his way back to his camp, he got into yet another accident. He was hit by a train. To be more precise, he was knocked off a narrow railroad bridge and landed in a creek. Evans.
Okay, landed in water though. I mean, depending on the height, it can be, you know, somewhat of a hard landing. But maybe it wasn't so bad.
Ended up back in the hospital only 7 hours after his initial accident. It's pretty miraculous that he survived being hit by a car, then a train just hours later.
That is an unlucky day. You've got a lot of vehicles that you can get hit by, but twice in one day? Nasty.
Marlo Prosperi.
I thought that was Nicolas Cage for a second.
Took part in a 1994 marathon called the Marathon of Sands, taking place in Morocco.
Oh, I wonder why it's called that.
The marathon was unfortunately swept away by a sandstorm, which caused Prosperi to lose his way and left him stranded in the desert. Running in the wrong direction, he ended up in Algeria, where
You just turn up in Algeria like, oh, whoops, I guess I'm in Algeria now.
he took refuge in an abandoned mosque. He survived 9 days by drinking his own urine and eating bats and snakes before
Okay, that is metal,
he was
man.
found by a nomadic family who took him to an Algerian military camp, where he was hospitalized.
I thought they meant he was hospitalized by the Algerian military. Like, he just rolled up after drinking his own piss and eating snakes for 9 days, and they were just like, fuck you, man, and just like punch him in the face and like hospitalize him. That's insane. There's no way I'd survive any of these. I don't think. And subscribe to the channel.